later.
Wait.
We don't get into
Where-
that. There were mistakes.
Tabulini and Tabulele are here.
Okay, hello and welcome everybody. I hope you
Where's
enjoyed that
Taco
random conversation at the beginning of the video. I just started recording without them even knowing a little bit of this.
Why is Taco
We are in the middle of
Why is Taco 8 points?
we're in the middle of power ranking for the ROMBL. Walt did not have the balls to record an intro, so I'm gonna do it anyway.
Leave it. No, I did not. No, I did not.
This is way too loud in the
No.
background. I need to do some adjustments to that. Yes, we are in the middle of the power ranking video. I just got pulled in here like for no fucking reason at all. I don't even know what to say. So
Say
Wow.
something funny in German.
Well, this video is not getting
all right. So, guys, you take over. I sit here and do the presentation. I'm gonna share you my screen so you see what I see. And you need to decide what I need to show, cause I don't have a living crap, a living idea, or whatever when it comes to double battles. Thank you.
How
Oh
do I
my
do the
god.
teams?
Oh, okay, well, I mean...
And as well, you see my beautiful face. Fuck you. Alright, let's go.
You all know me. You should all know me. If you don't know me, then you obviously don't watch him anyways. So, I'm Cherry. I just had a... I'm Cherry. Volt, do you want to introduce yourself, or are you still having an anxiety attack?
No. I am Volt. I am the owner of the draft league who has.
Moving on. So, we have
have
813. We have
I
813.
stream twitch.tv/awesomecause.
Okay.
I'm gonna bleep that.
Coffee?
I'm gonna bleep that.
Fuck you.
We have coffee. Is coffee here? Coffee.
Oh, hi, it's me, a coffee. I make
Okay, next.
shit.
Next, we have Gold. Gold is here.
I'm gold.
And
I'm
then, last but certainly not least, we have Charisma.
Yo.
Okay.
Alright,
All those
and,
beautiful people are going to be down in the
moving-
description.
Okay,
I'm not recording,
so
just letting y'all know now.
that's
recording.
fine. Okay, guys. So okay, so I think, as you know, just to be humble, we should go in order of who is not in the call right now, and then we should eventually work our way up. Because if you guys don't know, the people that are participating, some people that are participating are in this call right now. So I think it's best
Yes.
that if you're not in the
have
call, we should
6
review your team
coaches.
as well. Thanks, for.
We have,
No problem, Walt.
we have 6
No problem.
coaches in the call.
Thank you,
Six
Vol.
out of 20.
Can everybody that is in the call right now, if they are participating
Oh wait, Lucas is already.
in the MBO, can you say your team name so that we know not to go over yours first? as f-
Turmoil.
I like
Okay.
how Jerry adjusted to my toxic behavior already.
Lancaster Lightning Rocks.
Okay.
So-
And okay, Volt is a part of that team. We're on the screen right now. We shouldn't be on the screen, but we are because we matter.
Yes, this is really
Uh,
good.
Okay. Anyways, we're gonna move on from
Didn't
this.
matter because
So the first team we're gonna go over, Lucas is
Ooh,
going
guys
through.
got this.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Let's go with the
Okay,
worst of the worst.
Ooh.
Wait, it says coached by Jalen and Lucas. What does that mean?
Oh, it's a multi.
Anyway, so we have the. Does anyone want to introduce the team and their team name and all the information?
And for some,
This is Team 420, coached by Alex 420 and Sebastian. I think that is.
No,
severely dyslexic.
Sebastian. Didn't Sebastian drop and they got a new?
Yeah.
I will check.
Wait. Can I?
Charlie, yeah.
Can I cut in real quick and say why the fuck is Lucas's screen so fucking pixelated on mine?
That's what I
Yes.
was going to say, but I
Yes.
thought it was my internet.
Same.
I just want to say that I don't have a cursor at the moment, so I just try to figure my way out where
Yeah,
I need to
Charisma,
click.
can you?
Yeah, done.
Yeah, it's okay. So
I-
this is guys, you are watching a unprepared video.
Guys, I need to record
proposed
this.
by myself.
I need to record this. We need to decide what.
Okay. So
Wait,
the team was introduced. Looking at their draft, they have
Now you have a
Lanner
high.
Styrian,
now you have a high
Amoonguss,
quality stream.
Articuno Galar, Charizard G-Max, Nidoking, Chinchino, Cloyster, Corvisquire, Shuckle, and Wigglytuff. So okay, I'm gonna be brutally honest. I don't see what Shuckle does, other than like
Neither
power
do I.
trick
How this
trick room.
doesn't work in
Power
doubles.
trick room may be a play, but I don't know if Wigglytuff gets trick room. I don't know. Or I don't know. I know Articuno does, but I don't know about anything else here. But pretty much, Cloyster's kind of meh. Cloyster dies to any AOE special attacking move. It needs redirection to use its Shell Smash set,
He
and
has
honestly, all I
redirection.
see is Rage Powder.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work on grass types, aka one of its weaknesses. And Charisma, you know all the items. What's that item where it ignores powder moves that Talonflame
Safety
normally run?
goggles. Okay, bye, Jalen. Or by Lucas?
Oh my god. Okay.
What happened?
Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is it's a decent competitive mon, I guess. Other than that, I don't really see what Wigglytuff does, in all honesty. Corvus Squire is probably gonna only be one. Other than that, I also don't see what Corvus Squire does. Needle King is a good Life Force Sheer Force mon, I guess. That's kind of really all I see. Charizard Gmax is a good Gmax in my opinion. However, to fully take advantage of its power, I don't see a Torkoal or Prankster Sunny Day or any of that sort. But even without Sun, Charizard Gmax is pretty decent and is really good in my opinion.
I don't think he has Sunny Day at all.
I don't think so either. No, honestly.
Alright.
No sunny day.
Alright,
no
now
Charizard.
everybody's gonna mute so that the best competitive doubles player here can
Oh yeah,
go.
we have a VGC player here, Charisma. Take it away.
Sure. So, when I first look at this team, I see a lot of physical attackers, or a minimum amount of physical attackers compared to their special attackers. So your Cincino, your Cloyster, your Clover Square obviously aren't hitting as hard as your Charizard, Articuno. Lando is kind of the strongest physical attacker here and a strong intimidator for sure. You're susceptible to things like Blizzard. You're susceptible to Max Hailstorm. So you're not even able to run Sash in a lot of these Pokemon. And like you were saying before, Jalen, not having Sun is really going to hurt Charizard. Although it's able to put out lots of damage and just click buttons and put out a Gmax Wildfire. Charizard, again, dies to rocks, which Amoonguss obviously can't redirect the Rock Slide, and Charizard's still going to die to that. They tried to kind of prevent that with Corvus Squire and Nidoking. As well as Cloyster to try to bulk up their physical defenses.
How is Corvus Squire going to live a Rock Slide?
How is what?
How is Corvus Squire going to live a Rock Slide without Steel tapping?
Isn't it Steel Flying?
No, it's not. It's not.
No, it's just fine.
Well, never mind then. Well, again, like things like Corvus Squire and like not fully evolved mons, I'm not gonna have much knowledge on, but things like Nidoking aren't hitting as hard as you would expect them to. Nidoking's like spread moves mainly come from its special pool, and having 85 base attack is not necessarily the best. Also, being ground poison isn't the best to attack on another ice weakness. Considering Articuno Galore is not ice flying, you're sitting with 4 of your prevalent mons are weak to ice. So someone could come in and max hailstorm the hell out of you. Charizard, I guess there is to cover that, but you're forced to bring it each week.
No, Charizard is not going to take Gmax Hailstorm most likely. It's just gonna drop.
It's not gonna.
I think it will. It won't take it good, but it'll definitely take it.
Charizard will take it. They attempted to draft some good Pokemon, like Amoonguss and Lando, but the synergy is not there. They have a few good picks, like the Gmax Wildfire, like the Articuno, like the Amoonguss, like the Lando. Some compliments to the team. Wigglytuff, I feel like could be underrated. For 1 point, it is a pretty good special attacker and is kind of bulky with 140 HP. It does have competitive, so if you are able to get that procced later in the game, so if your opponent is snarling against your Articuno, your Charizard, or trying to intimidate and slow down your Lando, you are able to take advantage of that with your Wigglytuff. But that's what I see with the team.
Yeah, and I love everything that you touched on because I think Wigglytuff is a pretty decent and pretty good 1 point mon in all honesty. It can pretty much, in my eyes, really surprise a team with its base, I believe, 85 special attack. If competitive can be procced, it can do some really decent damage with if it's max strike.
For
Lowering
sure.
the speed, and it can help with speed control.
I
Most
just want to say
definitely.
that there's more special attack than Nidoking has. Or the same.
Yeah,
It's
it
the
has the
same.
same exact amount, and it's honestly a better attacker than Nidoking ever will be.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
when you're
Ah.
maxing, because when you're maxing Nidoking,
Oh, yeah, you lose the
you're
shiftness.
You lose sheer force.
you lose sheer force, number one, and number two, Wigglytuff having normal, um, and fairy, those are both great options. Because considering Lando and Charizard are not on the ground, uh, that could be a problem. But having Misty Terrain, being able to set that at will, as well as being able to slow down the opponent's side of the field with max strike, is more valuable in my opinion than getting a special attack boost. The other thing though is that Wigglytuff is fighting to be a competitive user with Articuno, which could
Yeah.
be depending on the week. They may want to bring a support set with like Trick Room Tailwind, or they may want to bring an offensive set. It really
Yeah.
depends on the week.
Is this
Can I
best of
chip
Yeah.
in
3,
here?
Volt? Volt is best of 3?
No, it's
No, this is
one.
best of one.
Okay.
Oh, that's
And
even more
I
fun.
think they also screwed themselves over drafting Landorus because they took away one of the best intimidators, which could have been used to proc your own competitive. So, like, overall, yeah, it's good one, but it then ruins their own synergy because it means they have less chances to go up against people with intimidate.
For sure, there's only a limited amount of intimidators, uh, not only in the format, but in general. There's only like 5 that I can think of off the top of my head, like Hitmontop, Incineroar, Orlando. Uh, that's honestly it. Who
Yeah.
else gets intimidate?
It's forms.
Crocodile.
Crocodile gets it as well. Yeah,
Like
and it's
there's a
evolved
lot
forms.
of
I don't see I ever
the
saw
main the
Crocodile
obviously
Diamonds.
the main like I would say the main two,
The
but the
main
main
most
3,
popular.
yeah, the
The main
most
most
popular,
popular.
and then there's the niche, so like Hitmontop,
Yeah.
your crocodiles,
Yeah.
things like that. But
Which I don't even
that's
think
my
have been
opinions on the
drafted.
teams.
But yeah,
Yeah.
does anybody else that hasn't said anything have anything to say about this team?
I can say something about it. This looks like a singles team in a doubles draft league because they didn't know it were a doubles
Yes.
draft league at the first place.
That's
Yeah.
indeed true. Anybody else?
That happened for quite a couple teams, which we'll see in the near future. Anyway,
no future.
That is
we
a
move.
great transition, Volt. That's actually a great
Anyway,
transition.
moving on to our next team, which is I have severe dyslexia. Can somebody read the next team? It's the something starters.
Something
Syracuse
starters.
starters.
Syracuse starters.
Yes, and that's
Coach.
coached by Sam and Eddie. I'm pretty sure, as long as Eddie didn't change. I can't remember if Eddie was one of the ones that dropped or not.
Oh my god.
Overall, to start off with, this team seems like it's heavily reliant on speed control, in my opinion. So anything comes
valid.
in
My dumbass is
that
listening to
runs
this
Trick
podcast.
Room, anything that comes in with Trick Room just ruins his team. It wouldn't win in a fight. And I don't really understand the Toxpex draft in a doubles league. It doesn't make
Well,
sense to me.
Okay, so going
Personally.
over just
Anybody got opinions
talking
on that?
about the mons that they have. They have Cinderace Gmax, which I think Libero is indeed allowed. Latios, Whimsicott, Zapdos Galar, Raichu Alola, Toxapex, Pyukumuku, Rapidash Galar, Wishiwashi, and Quagsire. So immediately I see a lot of offense. I think this team did I don't really want to say an amazing job, but Zapdos is a great Defiant user. I love Defiant and competitive really well, or a lot, especially in doubles format, because Intimidate is very broken. And it helps with max moves as well, like Max Strike and others, Max Wormwind as well. But I think Whimsicott Cinderace is a great duo. Latios is great, gives you Tailwind. I think Luster Purge is a stupid move. But in other than that, really, like the first four look amazing, and then after that, I don't know. Like Raichu Alola gives you fake out, yeah, but like it does. You should have just drafted regular Raichu, in my opinion. Cause like I don't know, this may sound like a singles player describing it, but like you don't even have electric terrain to take advantage of your ability. Like you should have just drafted regular Raichu. Raichu gives you an electric immunity,
Light,
and it gives you
yeah,
pretty
it
much
gives
the
you
same thing
lightning rod as
Raichu
well,
does.
and
And
it gives you
then
lightning rod to
also,
protect your Zapdos.
I'm also unfamiliar with how Toxapex helps the doubles quote unquote format here. And
Merciless Venom
Pyukumuku
Shock.
can just get. Oh, yes, see, Lucas, if you don't know, loves Toxapex, and he told me like weeks before the season started that he wanted Toxapex, and I said no. If I'm your partner, we're not doing that. But I believe Rapidash gets Trick Room, if I'm not mistaken. I think Rapidash gets Trick Room. I
Let's
also
check that
think
right now.
Rapidash gets in prison. Yeah, please do. So Rapidash could potentially, I'm not sure. I'm not really too familiar with Rapidash, but I think that could help prevent Trick Room as they have a lot of fast. They have a lot of fast and offensive pressure with Cinderace and Zapdos and even Latios. Latios could be a really great Maxmon in this open max meta. But other than that, I feel like everything else is sort of weird. But I bet Charisma could explain that in a more
So let's talk
detailed
about Rapidash
way.
Galar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that one
there's a
gets
lot
Trick
to
Room.
there's a lot to touch on this team. Very clearly off the bat, I see hyper offense. You see Whimsicott Latios. You see that they both get the tailwind. Latios being could be a support with tailwind. It could be an offensive threat. With Draco Meter, with Luster Purge, or whatever special move it gets, being definitely a threat to reckon with. We all know if you've played VGC ever that Cinderace Gmax is a force to be reckoned with. And getting those boosts are really going to be detrimental for whoever their opponent is. And having Zapdos next to it is just going to make it 10 times harder for them to get any Intimidate off of them. They're going to have to find that window of opportunity to make sure Zapdos isn't on the field or to clear Zapdos off the field before they're able to intimidate Cinderace. And by then, usually it's steamrolled through your team. I could see them drafting Toxapex here, considering it's a multi-battle league. Does offer some bulk to the team, while Zapdos and Cinderace hit as Whimsicott and Latios. Rapidash, I do believe, gets Trick Room, so you're able to run EVLA with that and get up some Trick Rooms or deny Trick Room from people. Quagsire and Wishy-Washy are both slept on picks, in my opinion, here. It completes the Fire, Water, Grass core with Cinderace, even though Cinderace isn't a fire type. Wishy-Washy is able to hit hard and hits like a truck, both on the special and physical side. I remember I ran a vest set for a while with a mixed, like with Ice Beam and Earthquake, and it hit things like a truck. Quagsire, with its unaware ability, allows it to not take any big damage from the max moves. So if they max Knuckle, you're doing the same amount of damage to a Quagsire. It gets things like Yawn, and its typing is phenomenal for it as well, as long as they don't have a Grass type, which again is covered by the Zapdos and Cinderace anyways. I think this team is more well-rounded than the last, but of course it still has its weaknesses. It seems they're very weak to ground, which they try to cover with their Zapdos, Latios, and Cinderace. But if they deny that at all with anything jank like Gravity, they're able their opponent's going to be able to stack up special defense boosts and just kind of wall them out. If screens as well could be a problem here for their team. Pyukumuku kind of seems like dead weight.
I
Considering
agree.
with no attacking moves, it could try to toxic, but that's not going to work in doubles 9 times out of 10.
There are so many taunt users out there. It's just gonna get shut down, and Mental Herb won't save it either.
Can I just
In
say
my
that this
honest
team is
opinion.
completely getting shit on by any electric type Pokemon?
Oh
That
yeah,
is as
Reggie
well.
Lecky just goes through as
Yes,
well.
yeah. Zapdos loses. He doesn't have the lightning rod.
Zapdos is
Toxapex
gonna
loses.
Toxapex loses
Wishy-Washy loses.
Wishy-Washy can take it. Quagsire obviously is a wall, but Cinderace won't be able to go for airstreams in front of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. This is. I'm not speaking as a singles player. I'm speaking as a guy who literally ran into the Gen 7 VGC meta at one point with this dumb shit. But y'all know Latios gets like electrical coverage along with Cinderace, right?
Yeah, it gets
but-
Thunder and Thunderbolt and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even though there's a bunch of taunt users running around, there's a really small gimmick going with Pyukumuku. It's just the basic soak bullshit, but if you know if your opponent doesn't prep for it or if they don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
top splitters, yeah, no, that's
I
fucking
remember
good to
that.
go.
Yeah, I
Yeah, but
remember that.
Pyukumuku in a doubles format where you're trying to do that, trying to soak something with Pyukumuku and then use Raichu, the speed difference being 5 and 110, the difference
Yeah.
there, opponents are able to take a turn in
It's
between.
drastic.
So
Yeah.
it's very obvious when you bring Raichu and Pyukumuku, that's what you're going for. So if they're doing that, they're able to just target down Raichu, even if it's Sash, double into it. Cinderace gets a dark move, they just max darkness, and then they double into you with like a spread move, and it's GG's.
Yeah, I agree.
Because any week that they're bringing Pyukumuku to, all the opponent has to do is play All My Friends Are Dead Syndrome, meaning they narrow down every Pokemon but Pyukumuku, and then considering Pyukumuku has nothing but Counter and Reflect, or Miracle, or whatever it is.
It does not get
Um,
reflect.
Not Reflect, I meant the Counter and the...
Ah,
Counter
Miracle,
and
Miracle.
Counter, Miracle, Recover.
Those are its only damaging
Toxic.
options, and besides like Toxic, I guess, but they narrow that down, so it's just the Pyukumuku left, and then they kill it.
Yeah.
So that's something we have
Does,
to be mindful of.
and yeah. Does anyone else have any thoughts, or did Charisma sum it up?
Not really.
I think Charisma did a pretty good job.
Okay, good. So I guess. Oh wait, Volt, did you have something? My apologies.
No, I was just gonna say what our next team was. Which is our next team is the Slow Bros, coached by It's Big Era and Kami Mac 2005. All around, in my opinion, this is an interesting team. When I first saw what they were drafting, I was really confused as to what they were doing because they started off by drafting Blissey, which is an interesting pick for doubles to say the least. It's normally something you'd see drafted quite early on in singles, not doubles. From my personal experience, I don't have loads. Don't quote me on that. But then they picked up monsters like Coco and Titar. Titar is kind of let down by the fact that another team took Excadrill round 2 because they made a really weird first pick. So Titar is just like a sand setter that can't really do much anymore. Yeah, it's bulky, it can take hits. Max Rockfall will do load to anyone that doesn't want to eat it. It can be run bulky as a wall. It mixes alright with Coco in my opinion. Coco Titar, I believe in Gen 7 used to be a huge meta. Then you have G-Max Blastoise with Max Cannonade doing a dumb amount of damage and trapping. You have Decidueye. I've never seen it used competitively in doubles, but I think it's a definitely solid pick. When they're rounding off their Firewater Grass Core with what's it called Center Scorch. Center Scorch with Flame Body and Flash Fire stops any punishing Fire type moves hitting Decidueye, but they have a lot of walls for Fire type moves. And then they have Slowbro Galar, which is an insane Pokemon in multi battles purely because its quick draw ability bases off of all 3 Pokemon on the field because it's 4 different trainers instead of just the 2 opposing ones, which means its quick draw is a dumb high amount when it's facing any really fast teams. Again, I've spoken about Blissey, don't really know why it was drafted. The Dene, yeah, come on. Never seen it used competitively, couldn't give you input. Then they have Wonder Guard, Ninja. This could get caught off. This could catch people off guard with Why Not if you don't prep to make sure you have a move that can kill it on every Pokemon. Because Shadow Tag traps you in, and then you're stuck against the Wonder Guard Ninja with no moves that can hit it.
Actually going more in depth with this team, I believe. I think, going off of what Volt was saying, I think Tyranitar is a great mon in itself, and I think, Excadrill complements it and doesn't, like, make it worse. I believe that Tyranitar is an amazing weakness policy mon, due to its amazing defense and offensive stats that it has. And I also believe that it pairs really well with Coco, as Coco gets access to speed control with Electro Web, and can be ran bulky and can also be ran offensive with its base 95 special attack stat and 130 speed. Blastoise is kind of like Charizard. I would say in my opinion it's a little worse than Charizard, but it gets access to Shell Smash, and that can in some situations be good for this team. The Sigilai actually can be really really good. Considering I believe in this league, past gen moves are allowed, and if that is the case, the Sigilai gets access to Tailwind, which could be really
Yeah, that
nice
is
for this
correct.
team. It could help with speed control, which you can never go wrong with. I believe Cinescorch is a good Maxmon in itself. I know in a past multi-league that I ran, we had Gmax Cinescorch, and it was really nice. Coil is always a nice set if you have the right redirection or if you're in a pretty good position to run. I actually 100% agree with Volt on Slowbro, as Slowbro is broken, and the reason why I say this is because Quick Draw is broken. You could be in a commanding position, and then Quick Draw, like offensive Slowbro, can just ruin you. In my honest opinion, in an open max meta, Max Ooze and Max Mindstorm are really, really good moves, as one stops priority fake outs and things like that, and the other raises your special attack, which there are quite a bit of special attackers on this team. I feel like Blissey is an interesting pick, as Blissey ally switch doesn't work in multis. Um, yeah, so ally switch doesn't work in multis. I learned that out the hard way. Don't test it out. I lost because of that. But it has insane special bulk. Its physical bulk can sort of be like it's helped with its HP stat, its base HP, but it's still kind of bleh. And its offensive stats are pretty bad. I don't really see what Blissey does. I don't. Does Blissey get heal pulse? I don't even know. I can look it up right
I can check.
now.
I'm on.
Yeah, it gets heal pulse. That's pretty much all I see it really doing. Heal pulse. Like I said, I'm not too sure. Charisma may have more information than me. Dedenne. I think Dedenne is a very niche pick. Dedenne gets Nuzzle, and Nuzzle can be. It gets Nuzzle. It gets Super Fang. Like
The
it.
Fats Nuzzle too, so.
Yeah, I think this is a really really good niche pick. I think now for Shedinja's case, I feel like Shedinja is like in Gen 8, Shedinja was nerfed, and the reason being because of max moves. I feel like if you own Shedinja and it's doubles or multis or whatever the case may be, you have to make a choice. You can't necessarily run Sash because if someone clicks Max Hailstorm or Max Rockfall, you die to sand. And you can't necessarily really run safety goggles in all situations because you have a base 1 HP stat, you literally die to anything. And I think why not? I think the only thing why not has for it is Shadow Tag. Other than that, I really don't necessarily see what why not does. But Charisma may have more information than me.
It's Tickle.
Charisma.
He has
Sure.
Tickle.
So you want to go, Lucas?
No, I was just saying he has Tickle.
Yeah. So, you hit a lot of the points that I wanted to, Jalen. T-Tar is a good mon overall. Just if we even saw at the bottom, Shedinja and T-Tar don't necessarily have the best energy. Any week you bring T-Tar, you can't bring Shedinja, because you're forced to run into goggles. T-Tar is a good Pokemon overall, really great pick. You can even run in a nerve set if you want to. If your opponent is going to bring a Rock Berry or something like that, maybe against the Charizard week. Tapu Koko, very versatile Pokemon with speed control, hitting 130, gets screens, E-webs, Volt Switch. The pivoting on it is insane. You're also able to switch into things like Blastoise, which in the same vein as Charizard, you're doing the same amount of damage. You're able to just click buttons and do that chunk of HP to your opponents without having to do anything. Blastoise is a bit on the tankier side compared to Charizard, meaning its special attack suffers a little bit, sitting at 85. But it's still the residual damage is what you use it for. Decidueye is a pretty good Pokemon. It's very niche, but the trade-off of having a grass type rather than no grass type at all is a good one. You're actually able to max Decidueye, set up those grassy terrains, and drop those defenses for things like a physical Koko maybe or a physical T-Tar that are able to just hit in your opponent's Centiskorch as well. The Fire Water Grass that we see here with the Blastoise Decidueye Centiskorch could be a threat for opponents. They cover each other pretty well. Center Scorch, for example, right? Max Flutterby, lowering their special attack, setting up flares maybe to change the weather, lowering damage that maybe opponents are doing with water moves into it. Center Scorch, I feel like, is another niche mon. Slowbro, able to do max set up psychic terrain and then go for expanding force with quick draw. Very, very potent. It also gets Trick Room, so that's their. I think that's like their only Trick Room answer, unless one of these Pokemon gets torn. I think Decidueye maybe gets it.
Shedinja gets Trick Room, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but like I said before, Shedinjas is usually dying to T-Tar's own sand or to something else.
Yeah, okay.
Shedinja, like I'll get to that as well, but Shedinja and Why Not, they don't seem like I could see the Shadow Tag Wonder Guard gimmick, but I really don't see it working that well. Dedenne is a niche pick though, with 101 speed, being able to nuzzle things, you're able to slow things down for T-Tar and pick up easy rock slide kills or max rockfall kills, depending on what you're doing with it on the team. I also believe that Blissey could be maybe used with some heal pulls gimmicks if it gets it. But besides that, it's nothing but a late game wall that you stall your opponent with. But yeah, they have a lot of solid attackers. Their bulk could be is questionable, with Tapu Koko being their only screen setter, or reliable screen setter, I should say. Dedenne with fast nuzzle. But yeah, Jalen, you touched on a lot of the main points that I would.
I would like to say something regarding Slowbro, Galar, and Quick Draw, along with Blissey. Another thing you gotta watch out for: priority feature sites. I know it's a weird thing to be careful about. Like, I know it's a weird thing to be like, oh yeah, be careful about it. But I mean, like, hey, if you're just like if you because battles come and go, and they're sometimes they're pretty fast paced, other times they're pretty slow. But in really fast paced battles, that future sight could just hurt like a motherfucker if you're not careful.
Wait, in Charisma can correct me. Doesn't Future Sight hit both opponents in doubles?
I
Or
don't
am I thinking of
believe
something
so.
different?
I
If
think
I
it
may be
does,
thinking
I've
of
been missing
expanding
out on a
force.
big move.
I may be thinking of expanding force. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
E-Force does hit both opponents.
does anyone else have any thoughts?
Um,
Move on?
I want to
forgot
say
to
something
mention
about
Blissey
the
also.
Wonder God. Sorry if I cut
Yeah,
over
go
there.
ahead, Lucas.
I know there was this one cheese tactic where you use Wonder Guard and Soak on your Shedinja, and then it turns into a water type, so they cannot predict it really. But I don't know.
think it gets a Soakomon. I'm not looking at the
No,
team.
they didn't get one. But this could be something they're aiming for as a niche, but I don't think if it's worth, but that's something you need to keep in mind that they could do, potentially.
They still die to sand, right?
I mean, you are not really forced to run heavy duty boots on
Yes.
this thing, because their hazards is not really a thing in doubles, in my opinion.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Jalen
but
said, you're
you
either
still have
running
like
Sash or
sand.
Goggles.
Sand
Yeah.
or goggle or
So you're
sash or
forced to
goggles,
run
yeah.
Goggles any week you bring T-Tar, was my point.
Yeah, that's true. And they will bring Tita like every week, but
You literally
I still think
wait.
that Ninja can do stuff, but we'll see how they prove me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we'll see
think
what
I
they do
think
if anything.
Shedinja I think Shedinja can do things and can do damage. It's just its only problem is it got nerfed in Gen 8 due to Dynamax moves and things like that. Weather
Because of how
it's
often the
easier to
weather
set
is
up.
changing.
Yeah, exactly. Weather changes a lot.
It's also kind of
So-
a shame that it's on a team where a lot of its own teammates hinder it. Max
Yeah,
Mindstorm.
I agree.
A lot of these Pokemon want to be able to max and kind of
Click buttons.
lower the like T-Tar is going to be their main Maxmon for sure, as long
Yeah,
as Blastoise.
for sure.
And they're going to be setting sand almost every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, most likely. You're right.
But moving on, I think the next team we're gonna get into is
The
sorry if I
Richmond
butcher this.
Raichus.
Oh, okay. The Richmond Raichus. They are coached by, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, how about the Shuckle Buckle?
Oh,
Oh, we can do that first. Actually, yes. We're gonna switch gears. We're gonna go
do that
into the
first.
Shuckle Buckles.
Where they no, because now I'm just reading the order. I run Team 420.
Oh,
Syracuse
sorry,
Stars,
I
Fine by
Flubber,
me.
Shuckle
Fine
Buckle.
by me.
I miss Shucklebuckle. I miss
Oh,
Shucklebuckle.
you're the,
I'm
oh,
sorry
that's
for
why.
that.
That's why. That's why. Okay.
If
Well,
they are
we can skip that
coached.
then. If it's
No,
We'll
we
come
don't-
back to that.
Oh,
yeah, we're
okay.
coming back to the people who are in the chat, right?
Yeah. So I guess we're going
we'll
to
just
the
go to the
Richmond.
Richmond Righteous. Yep.
Eh? What?
We'll do that team before we do the coaches that are in the call.
But no one from
We'll do
the
that team before we do
Shackles
that.
is in the call. Who's in the call from the Shackles?
No
Nobody,
one.
but we'll do that before we do those. Because that team's got an interesting mon on it.
Okay.
Oh,
Alright.
Reggie
Alright,
Lucky.
Can I start off with this team?
Wait, I
Go
wanna
ahead.
I wanna see you pronounce the coach's name, the second one, because that's German, and I don't think you can pronounce that.
Well, I
I'm
was
gonna
gonna
shut
go
up now.
Wait. What did you
I was gonna go Undertoten.
Not
How is it pronounced, the German man?
M der Toten.
Undertoten. And Jarek.
The 1 week of Call of Duty I played was gonna pay off here.
Alright.
Wow. Okay.
I hate to start off with the negatives with this team, but instantly I see so many weaknesses jumping out at me. They've got a huge fighting type weakness with PZ being weak to fighting, Mammothwine being weak to fighting, Copperaja being weak to fighting, and then they have a ground weakness with Lytton and Dragale, Copperaja, Mammothwine. If gravity gets put on, then Rotom dies to ground. There's so many weaknesses I just see jumping out at me with this team. It doesn't look like it'd be fun to play with.
It has
I
all its weakness
personally wouldn't
covered.
use it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And then
But-
PZ, it was an interesting pick that they chose for. Its abilities are great. It wasn't what I expected to be seeing in round 1 drafted as a first pick. Rotom has always been in meta since the game's come out, I'm pretty sure. It's strong, it gets access to Overheat, which is an insanely powerful special fire type move, along with good electric coverage, pivot, defog, but that's not really necessary in this situation. Is there anything I missed on Rotom Heat? Apart from Levy?
No. And actually, if you don't mind, I think
Yeah?
Sorry, I'm eating.
Yeah.
If you're jealous, leave the call. Anyway, so I think PZ is an amazing round 1 pick. I think PZ does a ton of damage with adaptability max strike. I've definitely seen this with Charisma, has used it himself. And I think that on they don't have Clefairy, but PZ Clefairy is an amazing duo. As they supply Friend Guard and Helping Hand. Sorry for background noise if you hear it. But adaptability Life Orb max strike just does a ton of damage. And it's kind of like a weaker Regieleki. So anything that is not named a ground type, it literally hits everything for amazing damage. And on top of that, with Max Strike's effect, it helps their speed control. So it's great. In my opinion. But that's just my thing on PZ. I do agree that there is a decent or a little bit fighting weakness and a ground weakness. I think Lytton. I kind of chuckled a little bit with Lytton because all that Lytton does for this team is supply Intimidate and supply Fake Out. That's all they can do. But I think that it's a decent team in my opinion. But I'm sorry, I cut off Volt. Volt was going through all the other mons. If you wanted to continue, or I can keep going.
Yeah,
if you
no,
ever so much.
I'll continue. There was also
cool.
a triple poison weakness with Komodo, Brigale, I believe,
Komo-
takes neutral,
wait,
and Togetic.
Komo resists poison because of its. I think it's the fighting weakness or fighting typing might be. But
I don't know these odd weaknesses. You wouldn't expect fighting to resist poison. Why would a fighting type Pokemon, something that's known to be physical, resist poison? That just doesn't make sense to me.
Because the body is
I don't
stronger
know.
and is toxic. Flexing on those.
Anyway, I think Komo. I think Komo is a nice. I think Komo is a nice pick.
Decent
I have
pick.
used
Never
it
seen
in
it used in doubles.
Oh, I have. I've actually used a team with Komo back in Series 5 or 4. It was a long time ago. But Clanger Soul is really nice. It's a pretty good move next to Throat Spray. I know that was one of the few most used sets back when I used it myself. But it has good bulk, it has good stats, it has a pretty good speed tier with Gen 8. And with Open Max, it gets a decent amount of coverage and it's really nice. And Bulletproof and Soundproof and Overcoat, all 3 of those are amazing abilities. So in all, I think Komodo is a really good dragon. Mamoswine, I think if I'm not mistaken, Mamoswine has been growing in popularity. With the fact that it can't get intimidated with Oblivious, if I am not mistaken. It's a really bulky, uh, really decently offensive ice type. It has good bulk as well. It has a good speed tier. And basically you can run sash on it. It does a lot of damage, and Intimidate can't really prevent that. It also gets access to Thick Fat, which can help with your ice and fire weaknesses, as I see with Tisserina and Copper. It can definitely help with that. Tisserina, speaking of which, Tisserina Queenly Majesty is amazing as it stops fake out. And I believe it stops priority in general, not just fake out. But Tisserina is really nice. It can be used as a Maxmon as well. It has great bulk. It has a base 120 attack stat, which is great. Decent speed. I think it gets access to a flying move, which is translated to max airstream. I don't know the move by heart. I think it's bounce, if I'm not mistaken. But all in all, it's a really good grass. Kaparaja, I fell in love with Gmax Kaparaja. I love its design. It's amazing. I think that Gmax Kaparaja in particular, its Gmax move is sort of hindered. I think that's why it's always been held back in VGC doubles multi-battle format, due to its Gmax move basically setting up hazards, which hazards basically aren't used in VGC and doubles formats for many reasons. But it has a great attack stat, it has great HP. Its defenses are sort of mediocre. It's kind of a little bit of a Blissey case where its HP is good and its defenses are bad. You can tell it's a good Trickermon with its base 30 speed stat. And it overall, Sheer Force and Heavy Metal are both great abilities for Kaparaja, and it hits pretty hard. Ooh, what is that sound? I don't know what that sound was. I don't know if it was from my end.
I hear you.
But continuing, Slowking is a really good mon. Slowking gives you Trick Room. Its stats are pretty amazing. It's a good Trick Room mon. I think all the Slowking, Slowbro forms they get Expanding Force. Expanding Force is always nice, especially in Open Max where you can freely set up Mindstorm. All in all, that's pretty much all I have to say about Slowking. It's also a good water type as well. Dragalge. Now, Dragalge is very underrated in my opinion. It's a really good trigger mon. It's a really good weakness policy mon as well. I think it gets decent. It also gets flip turn. But I think it has decent coverage. If not decent, pretty good coverage. I haven't really used Dragalge. But it's a good mon. It has good defensive stats, good base 97 special attack stat, which I think is really good. It has adaptability, which I think adaptability is always broken. Poison touch you're pretty much never gonna use in my opinion, as well as poison point. But I think adaptability is really nice. Getting access to max ooze and worm win, which are really good. Togetic is in. I think Togetic is. I don't know. I feel like Togetic is one of those mons where you're forced to run support. It has a base 80 special attack stat, which is not bad. It also gets access to Super Luck, so you could do something with like Dazzling Gleam or something with that. You can't really use Serene Grace and Hustle. If you use Hustle Togetic, props to you, but you're not going to win that game. But Serene Grace you
Challenge
can't necessarily
accepted.
use, in my opinion, because of its base 40 speed stat. You're not going to really be taking advantage of Air Slash. I don't know if it gets anything else on the Serene Grace spectrum. I'm not too sure. But that's what I really associate Serene Grace with for Togekiss and everything below that. And then it has good defensive stats, which Eviolite is an item. It can boost that, and then it can make it really hard to take down with access to Roost. And then finally, Litten, I talked about earlier. Litten literally runs Sash, just like Meowth and Pikachu and things like that. It runs Sash, it gets Intimidated off, it clicks Fake Out. That's all it does. Its speed is 70, which is actually pretty decent for Litten, of all things. But other than that, I don't really see what else Litten does, but Charisma can furthermore explain.
No.
Yeah, sure. So I actually really, really like this team. Even though a lot of these picks are niche, they fit together really well. So one of the things I think that you didn't mention that PZ actually gets Trick Room. So the option as well as Slow King. So the fact that they have a very clear night and day Tricker mode. So your Serena, your Caparaja, your Jigauji for Trick Room. And then you have your Como, Rotom, and PZ for like hyper offense as long as Mamoswine. They have a good balance of physical and special attackers. Rotom, Porygon, Komo, Mamoswine, Serene, and Caparaja. A perfect split with Dragouji, Slow King, boosting them up as well. Caparaja, I know, hits hard. Mamoswine hits hard. Serena hits hard. Like, I don't even have to explain some of these Pokemon. They just hit hard. And honestly, that's fine sometimes. Litten as well, being able to switch in Togetic with redirection as well. I think this team is going to be a tough team to beat for anyone who plays it. Even Litten being a Litten, you can run this thing with Sash, and you're able to intimidate things. And it's honestly a great 1 point mod. PZ, as you touched on before, adaptability Hyper Beam. If they don't have redirection, anything they aim into will die. Um, Rotom as well. If you get a nasty pot up as well, a lot of the meta things right now in Series 7 will just die to Rotom Heat. Only being really weak to rocks is kind of its downfall, but the rest of the team covers that well, having a Caparaja, Serena, Slowking, Mamoswine. Like you said before, Mamoswine's ignoring, intimidates with Oblivious. It can run even like Snow Cloak if it wanted to be gimmicky. It could set its own Hailstorm. Como I haven't used, but it's a Dragon type to round out their team, and I'm honestly here for it if they don't want to bring Jigauji. Serena actually is pretty good. Queenly Majesty, your opponent's not going to be able to fake out any of your Pokemon. So if you want to go for a Trick Room or go for a Nasty Pot or Rotom, you could just switch in Serena and you're guaranteed to get it because they can't fake you out. Also, any Prankster moves, so Prankster Taunt, anything like that, they won't be able to hit you at all with Serena on your side of the field. Dragouji as well with adaptability, the same logic as PZ, not hitting as hard, but still hitting relatively hard for a 3 point mod. But this team is really well. I think this is one of the better teams that I've seen so far.
Does anybody else have any thoughts?
Yeah, as someone who runs Como all like on almost every
Oh my
team
god.
before DLC
Here we go.
dropped. Hold on. Let me just say this: that Como all has like a really good fucking niche, even in doubles. Like, you know, setup sweeper. There was the set Jalen talked about, defensive. Shit, I remember someone was running especially defensive set on low ladder. That shit was scary. But yeah,
That is kind of scary. Its bulk
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah. But other than that, it's like really solid, you know? And, you know, Serena with Queenly Majesty stopping Fake Out. I think that's been said. But even though hazards aren't used a lot in doubles, I think Kabaraja G-Max's G-Max move could actually be helpful here because of that reason. Nobody's going to be running Defog or anything.
That is a valid point, actually. Sorry. I really didn't think about that. Defog isn't as Defog is going to be looked over due to the fact that in doubles you don't really in singles you pivot around a lot because in singles it's all about momentum. Doubles is completely different. And I think that because of that factor, I think it's steel bits or whatever it's called can really help teams. It worst comes to worst, it can break sashes that are there. So it can really help. But if anybody else has any thoughts about anything else here, if nobody else, we can move on into our next team, which I think Volt is consistently introducing them.
Yeah, the next team is Rainbow Snoms, coached by Rainbow Ninja and Master Snom with a gun, hence the name.
Okay,
I'm gonna be outright. Hey, I'm talking. I just want to say a couple words about this team and how their draft went. To start off with, their draft was an abomination. They ended up not knowing how to count and went 7 points over, which was the highest in the entire league. And it's because they started off by just drafting expensive mons that they thought looked cool, realised, oh shit, we don't have enough points, tried drafting a couple niche gimmicks that are known to pretty much anybody who has any doubles experience, and then went over by 7 points.
Well, and actually going off of that, I definitely agree with that, Volt. But going off of that, I feel like Their first, oh my goodness. I looked at this team. The first thing I see is Lapras, Moltres, Hatterene, Clefairy, Oranguru, Appleton, Greedent. Like this Lapras is majestic. I love its design. It's also really, really good. Setting up its own screens, even consistently. If it's max and you click Brick Break, it can consistently break up its own screens. So you're constantly you constantly have to like get rid of it, and that could be like leeway for this team to like get advantages or pressure on the other team. But Moltres as well. Moltres Galore is amazing. Berserk is really, really good, and it has access to Nasty Plot, and it's decently bulky with a good base speed stat, which I absolutely love. Then you have Clefairy, which complements Lapras and Moltres and maxed Hatterene. It pretty much Clefairy is just amazing. I know for me and Lucas, I know I kind of felt mad. We're gonna get into my team later, but I didn't realize that Clefairy was cheaper than I'm just gonna say it, we have Togekiss. So I was really mad because I'm like, why is Clefairy cheaper than Togekiss? Clefairy is literally amazing. So Friend Guard is broken in my opinion. Friend Guard's really good. It's also a good Eviolite which makes it decently bulky. Hatterene can set up its own Trick Room. It can also max. It can set up its own Psychic Terrain, Expanding Force. It gets access to that. It has a good base 136 base special attack stat, with base 29 speed, which is good for Trick Room. You can tell that this is pretty much a Trick Room team. With things like Greedent, Appleton, Oranguru for Instruct Trick Room. Excuse me. Golduck I like Golduck, because it can set its own rain. Excuse me, and it can also contradict, if that's the right word to use in this situation, other weathers with Cloud9. It also gets access to Swift Swim. Like I said, it can set its own rain. It has a base 85 speed stat, which I think is the same as Kingdra. So
And
after
guys,
Max
guys,
Geyser,
guys. At what team are we? I fell asleep.
oh my god. We're at Rainbow Snoms.
Okay,
But
okay.
to continue,
Okay.
I think if I'm not mistaken, Kingdra has the same base speed stat as Golduck. Someone can look that up. And it has a base 95 special attack stat, which I also think is the same as Kingdra. So this is basically a niche Kingdra, which I don't know. I like that about this. But yeah, it can pretty much set its own rain, and it can outspeed pretty much anything, even Regielekis, which is really scary.
No. He
but...
cannot speed Reggie like in rain.
Yes, it can. My Kingdra can. Is Kingdra base 85 speed? Or am I wrong?
It,
I looked that up.
It's base 90.
it is,
Oh,
but
it's 90? Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
Yeah, no,
still-
it can't outspeed in rain.
it cannot speed
Oh
rain.
my god. No, Kingdra's base 85.
I'm checking it right now.
Yeah, but it cannot speed.
Anyway,
It's
so-
85, yeah.
Yeah,
Scar's
so
Katana
it
can't even
can...
outspeed Regieleki.
Yeah, but Kingdra and Rain can outspeed Regieleki.
No,
Yes.
no, its speed
No,
just
it
gets
can't.
doubled.
Indeed can.
It's got
It
base
indeed
200.
can.
Base 200.
Depends on what speed they're running.
Thank you. Sorry,
Most
my bad. It depends on what speed.
Most Regieleki aren't running any speed investment because they don't
Yeah.
need it.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let
me rephrase.
When we get to that team, I'll explain it.
Oh yeah, actually, Charisma, you can go right into it. In all honesty.
Sure. So like with Regieleki, the reason people don't run any speed at all is because it naturally outspeeds everything. Even pull at -1, you don't need any investment to do it. Not pull at +1, but natural timid pull it outspeeds without any investment, which is insane. So what you'd rather do a lot of the times because of its lackluster.
We're not at Reggie Lecky right now. Are we?
I thought Jalen told me to explain it.
I thought. Well, I don't know. I think he wanted to
I think
talk
he
about
meant
the team.
the entire team.
Well, yeah, I meant
yeah.
that and explain it. I
My
was
bad,
handing
my
it all
bad.
to you. No, you're fine. You're
I just wanted to say that because I didn't know where we were actually.
Yeah, sure. I don't want to spiral off and then yeah. But anyways, looking at this team, Lapras, Moltres, Hatterene, really good core there. With Clefairy as well, able to support it. You have two Trick Room options. You have your Hatterene and your Oranguru. You have Appleton to support it. You have Golduck if you want to set up lane and have a semi-fast mode with Golduck. You cover your weaknesses pretty well with Manectric. Moltres could be kind of weird on this team. You have a lot of special attackers. There's there's one physical attack. There's two physical attackers, Greedent and Pincer, which are both suboptimal in my opinion. So they're kind of lucky on that. Their opponent is able to just snarl them 9 times out of 10 because Clefairy can't redirect that, and they can't do damage. Lapras in particular, as well as Moltres, if you slow it down before it gets a weakness policy or before it gets before it's Berserker, you're slowing down, you're stalling out Max, and then you can just kill it with whatever you want. Same thing with Hattery and Lapras. In the case of Lapras, for example, being detrimental more than ever, and you're maxing Lapras 9 times out of 10 anyways because you want screens. Clefairy, though, is going to be able to help that with Helping Hand. Could go for Hypnosis, Icy Winds for even more speed control. There's a lot more speed control here than meets the eye. But again, the biggest problem I see with this team is special attackers. But they did get a lot of good picks like Hatterene, Moltres, and Lapras. Even Hatterene, without his G-Max Smite, being able to set Misty Terrain, I actually think is a valid trade-off there. They maybe want to not get Lapras put to sleep, or maybe not get paralyzed or things like that. But yeah, the problem that I see is that there's too many special attackers.
Does anybody else have any thoughts?
Big issue
Or did
with
Charisma
the-
sum it up?
No,
go
big choice is with Clefairy. If you choose to run Friend Guard and you want to do your funny redirect spam, you end up just dying to like toxics and shit. I think that was already said. I'm like,
Well, yeah, that was sort of already said. However, I think if Charisma can correct me if I'm wrong. I think Clefairy's main role is to pretty much not really 100% stay alive the whole time because Clefairy can't really do any damage, but you want Clefairy alive enough so that your offensive mon right next to it can do a ton of damage while redirect spamming, so you may call it. Clefairy gets access to Heal Pulse. It gets Sing, I believe, Helping Hand, Follow Me. Like it's obviously a support. It even gets Life Dew, which I think is sort of niche and situational. But yeah, other than that, I think Clefairy is sort of death fodder, but not 100%. If Charisma wants to correct me on that.
The thing with Clefairy, it is a follow me bot, but the thing with Friend Guard that isn't a question is that you're doing no damage to the opponent. So you have to target it down anyways, and you can take 100% advantage of that by running Protect on it. So something in singles, right, you're not running Protect 9 times out of 10, but in doubles, you run Protect on Clefairy, and 9 times out of 10, your opponent has to target down Clefairy. Knowing that, you Protect, and now it survives 5 turns instead of 2. And that can get really annoying for your opponent. So they have to decide, okay, are they going to follow me? Am I finally going to be able to go for a max move, or do I have to go for another Steel Spike and a Clefairy? Like, you have to make those decisions in the allotted timer as well, and it really can put a lot of pressure on, more than you can realize at the time, to be honest.
Yeah,
and
I
also,
100
you're not
oh,
able
sorry.
to fake it out as well, because it can just Helping Hand. It is a big problem. It's prevalent even now. With Eevee, it actually survives a lot more than you think as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Charisma. But if nobody else has any thoughts, Volt, what is the next team we're getting into?
They got me to do this because they know severe dyslexia. Trying to read some of these names is going to be interesting. But we have Dark Horses of, I don't know what that word is. I'm sorry.
I know what team you're talking about. Dark Horses of Vanderbilt, or no, it's the isn't that the first Vanderbilt? Isn't that the first town in like Gen 8? Or am I wrong? No, it's the first town in Gen 6.
No.
Wait, yes. Wait, I know
Yeah,
that's a
I think it
Pokemon
is.
town. It's Gen 6.
It's not
Vanderbilt
Gen 8.
Town. Wait, no, it didn't autocorrect. Vanderbilt Town. Yeah, that's Gen 6. Okay, my second. Okay, I was close. I was close. But Volt, would you care to do the honors?
I wanna beat into this team first, and then Charisma and Cherry can have their to it because I've prepped for this team, and there were so many screaming weaknesses at me. Like, first of all, I see their huge weakness to anything that's a special wall. They have Victini, which can be run both ways, but Victini loses to, say, this is my week 1 team. Victini just loses so hard to Lando Eye. You have Diancie, Torkoal, Indeedee, Savali that preferably wants to be special attack because of its signature move, Violet Plume, Reggie Ice, and Skunkfish that are all special attackers, and I never know how to pronounce that, but the weird first form of
Tangela.
Tangela, yeah. Tangela. Those are all special attackers. You've got Gmax Meowth, which was a throwaway 1 point because they had to have a Gmax, which you won't see coming too often. That's their physical attacker. So they're limited to literally one physical attacker and one that preferably wants to be special. That's a huge crippling weakness to the team because it loses to special walls. Overall, if it had more physical coverage, I think this would be an amazing team. But it can't hold its own against anything that can more physical attacks.
And going off of that a little bit, I feel like
special attacks, yeah.
I feel like I don't really have a lot of background information on Victini because honestly, I've never seen it used. Probably due to, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Charisma can correct me. Mythicals
banned,
are
normally.
banned from VGC.
Yeah,
if
they've
I'm
never
not
been
mistaken.
unbanned because they were limited Pokemon that are normally event-only Pokemon, which means not everybody can get them.
Yeah, so I have no information on Victini. I bet Charisma may know more than me, but I know it's a fire type. I bet it could be a good Maxmon against Blue Flare, if I'm not
A13 would be the
mistaken.
best person to ask.
Yeah.
Actually, not.
What do you
It's
know
me.
about
Oh
Go,
boy,
Lucas.
Victini.
Oh no, he just took it upon his wing. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So Victini, very good offensive mon. Strangely enough, there was an assault vest set back in Gen 7. You rarely saw it, but they mostly ran a special, like a mixed set. You know, it gets great coverage. Energy Ball, Glaciate for fuck's sake. I don't know why. Blue Flare, Bolt Strike. It gets a bunch of shit. Like Final Gambit too. Really good at like whittling things down, or even just picking up easy KOs right then and there. It's got base 100 all across because of its mythical status. V-Create Bandit hits like a fucking truck. Power Swap is like really funny to see. You don't see it in singles, but it's really funny to see. It gets stuff like Will-O-Wisp, U-turn, fast U-turns are really good. Taunt, all that shit. But other than that, like what you really want to be looking out for is Victini hitting V-Create, because when that shit hits, you're losing something. You are guaranteed losing something unless it has Flash Fire or is Torkoal. Other than that, like it's so scary when it clicks V-Create.
I think even Torkoal
And
dies.
speaking,
No, it does not.
Oh, Charisma.
No, I just wanted to input in that Victini is personally one of my favorite Pokemon. So looking at it, I was just looking at its move pool again, and Victini V-Create is a base 180 move with stab. And the trade-off is you lose defense and special defense, which we already knew for close combat. So it's insanely strong, and the coverage that it gets.
It loses speed.
Yeah, it loses speed as well, but that doesn't matter. Considering it's 100 across the board, it has D-Gleam, Energy Ball. It gets Expanding Force now, apparently.
Oh, and Scorching
Stab Expanding Force. This thing is a monster, Max. This thing is going to be a problem for whoever plays against it. Consider it's going to be boosted by Sun and Torkoal. I don't want to take too much of your spotlight, but Vileplume Torkoal as well. You're able to switch.
No. Go
you're
ahead.
able to lead Vileplume Torkoal. You switch out Torkoal for Victini. For Victory Star, it boosts your accuracy, I believe, by 1.1. So you have even more accurate sleep powders.
Yeah. All in all, it's like a very, very scary Pokemon. Very intimidating.
I think you're all missing the point.
I feel bad for underrating it.
So
You're all
Victini
missing
as
the
well,
point.
it is very centralizing. So while they do have the Sun mode, right, they also have a Psychic mode for it, so they're able to lead in DD plus Victini, and then just spam E-Force with both and do tons and tons of damage. I'm actually not sure what Diancie does.
Yeah,
Diancie
I was
is
just
an
getting ready to
amazing
get into that. All I think Diancie does is just click Diamond Storm, but
It's also a pretty defensive Trick Room setter, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit about it actually, but Diamond Storm, yeah, it's 50% chance to raise user's defense for each Pokemon on the field.
Is it?
Well, each of the Pokemon across, so 50% chance for each of the opponents it hits, and then you just Mystical Fire, which can be used as support.
So, Diancie's more I said defensive, but I meant offensive. Um, because it has some good defenses. Of course, its HP stat's bad, but it can set up Trick Room. But like Coffee said, with Diamond Storm, it's a spread move. Both hits have a chance for 50% apparently. 50% of a like an iron defense raise. And yeah.
It also got access to body press this gen, so you know Diamond Storm body press is viable.
Okay, am I allowed to talk now? Alright,
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh, sorry, Lucas. Go for it.
All good, all good. So the thing that you're all missed out here is that Bikini gets Trick Room, and with a mon using Bulldoze next to it, triggering a weakness policy into weak creates, which lower its speed even more. This is what's really dangerous here. Or even the Ansi next to it. Like, the Ansi Trick Room, I think the Ansi gets Bulldoze. When you get Bikini slow enough and triggers weakness policy and just let it spam recreate at some point, there's no good way to get out of the situation. But you always saying Bikini has that low switch, and I cannot speak about doubles on this one, but I can speak about singles, and trust me, Bikini has enough switch ins. You all put it as being really strong. I know it's really strong, but it's not that overpowered as you put it. That's all I want to say
Yeah,
about it.
and oh, my bad. I'm sorry for cutting you
All
off.
good, all good.
I think the last thing I kind of want to say about this team is the fact that Meowth may be I'm making an early prediction. I don't think Meowth is going to max at all
No, I think
during
they
this
they took it as a
league.
pity pick.
Fake out Mon, in my opinion, as Meowth does indeed get fake out. It also gets Fate, which is a really good move. It can go through Protect as well. Could break sashes, but in my opinion, it does have a base 90 speed. But other than that, I do agree with Charisma. It is a pity pick. It does get fake out though, but that's pretty much all it has for it. So this first, I don't. This is gonna be off topic, but I hear my friend Beta. So Beta, if you're watching, shout out to Beta. But does anybody else have anything else to say about this team?
Now we move on. I want to go to sleep.
Okay, speed run. Vol, what's our next team?
We have the Chromatic Corvs, which is coached by Fake Hero and Kenny Beans. 1, 2, 3. First thing that screams to me is Sandsetter, Sandrush, Excadrill, Dracozolt, Scary. Gardevoir, good mid-range
Wait.
pick, Mon,
Volt.
Noivern, outspeeds. Yeah.
How is Scolipede at 1 point?
Yeah.
I don't
we're
know.
gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that debate later.
There were some.
There were a lot of.
You know how you're tired now? This is how we were doing the tier list when it got towards the end.
But just like what was saying, Sand Setter, Gigalith, Excadrill is always good. Dracozolt, I feel like Sand Rush is prevalent, but Hustle Life Orb is always great, especially as a Maxmon. Durant as well with Hustle Life Orb. I always hated Durant. Durant can die in fire. But Gardevoir is also good. Gardevoir gets, yeah, that's gonna hurt. But I think if I'm not mistaken, Gardevoir gets imprisoned. It also gets Trick Room, so that can be a Trick Room blocker. Scrafty gets Fake Out and Snarl. And I'm not sure if it gets Parting Shot. I'm actually like 30%
No, it does
on
not.
that. But it's really good. It gives you Intimidate as well. I don't know if I mentioned that. It also gives you Moxie. So it's really good under Trick Room, as well as Gigalith. Noivern gives you Infiltrator, which hits 2 screens. It also has a base 123 speed stat, and it gives you Tailwind, and it also gives you Frisk. Trying to scout your opponent's items is always good. I think Appleton is a really good pick with Thick Fat. It also gets Ripen and Gluttony. All 3 of its abilities are good. However, I think I'm going to be using Thick Fat the most often. It does have a base 100 special attack stat, which is pretty good. A base 110 HP. Pretty decent defenses, and then base 30 speed. For Trick Room, you have Duosion, which is essentially another Trick Room setter. If you want to go Mimi, you could go Magic Guard Life Orb, as it does have a base 125 special attack stat, which is really good. And then we have Scolipede, which Scolipede can be a really good max mon, especially with speed boost. It gets things like Mega Horn. I think it gets Sure Run, Poison Jab. It gets a decent amount of coverage. Base 100 attack stat as well. It's also a really good Life Orb mon. But Charisma, if you have any more thoughts on this. Oh, and Excadrill is a really good max mon as well. With and without Sand, Excadrill is really, really good. You can always slap a Life Orb on that, or anything in all honesty, and
Yeah,
it can
for
really
sure.
do damage.
So this team here, very, very, I would say hyper offense. They have things like Durant, Dracozolt, and Excadrill were kind of forced. They kind of get Intimidate spammed. That would be my problem here. Same thing with the special attackers. They get snarled to death. These guys, they just get Intimidate to death. In this case, I think getting Intimidated is worse. Because the snarls, at least you can, you have a chance to proc a weakness policy, but you can't avoid and Intimidate at all, or offset it at all, really, without switching out. Or maybe Swords Dancing with Excadrill. But your Dracozolt, I don't think Dracozolt gets Dragon Dance. If it does,
No,
that'd
it
be
doesn't.
pretty
It
fire.
doesn't. It doesn't. It
But
doesn't.
No,
it
it doesn't.
That's kind of sad.
It doesn't.
Dracozolt with Sandrush is a threat. Not sure about Gigalith being its partner though. It doesn't cover its bases too well. It's just a worse T-Tar. Scrafty with Intimidate is okay. Moxie okay. Shedskin could be useful. Gardevoir, it's a Trick Room. It's a Trick Room setter. But you're not going to be using that for that really. You're going to, I think you'd maybe max it with like Life Orb. Tries to train and do Expanding Forces. Not sure, like, I'm really not sure what you would use Gardevoir for on this team. Like, I know that it does, but I'm not sure why you'd use it on this team. Durant is definitely a problem to look out for. Life Orb Hostile is a problem. He's obviously going to be bringing Durant, like Gigalith, the Dracozolt each week with Excadrill in the back. Scolipede, I'm not sure what it does. I don't think it does anything for this team. Max Ooze isn't helping. Max Butterfly isn't helping. Duosion is a Trick Room setter, but also not helping this team really. You're hyper offensing anyways. Because you're bringing 3 fast Pokemon and Gigalith. So you're hoping if your opponent Trick Rooms, you're able to just spam Protect and then use Gigalith to clear their heavy threats. Noivern gets Tailwind, which is interesting. It's a pretty fast Pokemon, so you're able to spam Draco Meteor with that. But that's all I really see on this team.
Yeah. In the interest of time, does anybody else have anything else to
That's what I
say
said
that's
too.
really important?
Negative.
We are hurrying up.
Next one.
I think we're almost done, right? No, we're almost done. We have wait, Volt, what's our next team?
5 teams
bad.
left. 5 teams left. We have Keth. We have Keth run by Phobide and Arpoke.
Oh, I know what you
Zygarde.
were talking about.
Yeah.
That's a really cool
Let's just
logo.
let Charisma do the run. Let's just let Charisma do rundowns in interest of time.
You sure?
Yeah,
Go
just
for
do it.
brother.
Go through it.
Sure.
Go
So
for it.
Zygarde is I can't believe it's in this league. It has 1,000 HP in max when it gets its Aura Break. That is going to be a problem to deal with if you do not have a nice move.
I think our break is banned. Wait, not our break. Power Construct is banned. Power Construct is banned.
Yeah, no, I
Oh,
banned it.
okay. Whew.
Yeah.
Wait there for a second.
Yeah.
Colossal is good, but they do have a War Turtle, I guess. But Colossal G-Max is a huge problem. The thing about it is you only need to have its max for 1 turn. As long as you set up rocks, you're good to go. Same thing with Wildfire. You don't care if you die that turn as long as you get up your move. It's pretty much guaranteed considering Colossal could get up to +6 in 1 turn. Phalanx is not the best. Defiant could be a good tech, but they're not bringing Defiant against Zygarde, Colossal, and Ninetales anyways. Drapion with its sniper ability anyways, you're going for crits with the scope lens most likely. It's boosting maybe your Colossal with special tech, but then you lose your max and Colossal. There's a few things that counteract each other. Ninetales, weather control is always something that you want. So having hail, even if it doesn't complement your team, having weather control is good so that you're not getting sand rush on your opponent's team and things like that. Calyrex, haven't used it, haven't tried it much yet. Unnerve could maybe be full Psychic Glasses, the same timing as Celebi, so maybe it could be useful. Galvantula, fast as hell. Surprisingly, it can. It's 1 speed under Cinderace. You're able to E-webs with it, gain some speed control, I believe. I'd be surprised if it didn't get E-webs considering it's a spider, but you never know.
I can confirm it gets Electro Web.
Anyways, look, there's some Pokemon that get weird moves that they don't need, or there's some Pokemon that don't get it and you expect them to. Anyways, you're able to E-Webs and then Colossal. You're able to E-Webs and spam Blizzard. There's a lot of things you can do with Gavantra. I feel like Arctozolt and Ninetales is actually pretty super. It's not an equivalent to damage as Life Orb, Hostile, and Dracozolt, but it is doing the same amount of damage that they'd be using if they're using Sandrush. So there's going to be a Weather Wars when they play that week. Haunter as well, I believe, gets a Trick Room. So this could be like a Sash Trick Room run. Levitate also could be useful as well if they really want to switch it in for Colossal or Gavantula. What's the next team?
Clean cut. Let's go.
Wait. I think Charisma forgot about War Turtle, which War
I said
Turtle
War
detects us
Turtle
to
procs the
fake out.
Colossal. It procs its Colossal weakness policy, gets fake out. It gets access to Surf. Rapid
And
Spin's not
follow
being
me.
used.
And follow me. You
Are
can't run them
Are you
consecutively.
allowing previous moves?
This league does,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
Then
Yes.
then it does get follow me. That is a problem. Then you can lead Colossal, War Turtle, yes, Aqua Jet, and then follow me. I forgot that was the
Yes.
case.
Next team, Shucklebuckle, coached by Spooky Noob and Boy Slayers with Z's because they're weird.
Sure. So there's a lot of weird picks here. The only good pick they got, the only 3 good picks they got are Regieleki, Braviary, and Jelson. The rest of the team is kind of meh, in my opinion. Oris does get access to Refrigerate, which you're not going to be using. You're going to be using it for Snow Warning, being able to reset the terrain. Aggron, there's max moves do too much damage for a 4x weakness Pokemon as weak as this special defensively to do anything. You get Earth powered and you die. Alcremie could be cool with Decorate. The G-Max move is kind of underwhelming, to be honest, compared to like Wildfire and other moves that do residual damage like Rocks. Jelson is amazing Trick Room Center. The fact that it's only 7 points is honestly a steal. It's surprisingly bulky, and with Strength Sap, it can slow down the opponent very quickly. Braviary with Defiant, Sheer Force as well, puts out a lot of damage, and should be something your opponent is looking out for every week. Airstream boosts and being able to boost a Knuckle is kind of insane. Max striking as well with Stab is also crazy. You're also able to lower speeds and set up screens with Regieleki, an amazing Pokemon. Typical set that I'm running right now is Light Screen, Reflect, Electrowebs, Volt Switch. Easy screens, pivot out, and rinse and repeat. Regieleki with Transistor is a force to be reckoned with for sure. You could also even do invest no special attack, go for a completely bulky set. Full switch in your Braviary, get weakness policy, and go ham on things. Maractus, Heatmore, and Grapplopt, kind of weak picks. Stoutland could be a niche pick to with Sandrush against like T-Tar, things like that, to bring in sand and maybe Roar or T-Wave things. Surf as well, you could proc weakness policy maybe on Aggron if you want to run that. BDB's doing so much damage. Heatmore and Maractus, I'm not sure what they're doing. Heatmore in specific, it's very frail. 85 HP, 65 special defense, kind of weak. Maractus could be a niche Storm Drain mon, but you don't need Storm Drain anyways because you have Water Absorb Jellicent. You have Auroras with Freeze Drive if you want a special. You have a Regieleki for crying out loud. You're not worried about water types a lot of the time. But I guess a grass type is important on a team. Is there anything else anyone would like to mention?
No, I think you mentioned everything really well.
Fuck Regieleki.
I think we're going to get into the teams where the coaches are in this call, so who
yeah.
wants to start with their team?
The next, we're going to start with Lancaster, like I'm going in order. Next 3 teams, as far as I'm aware, each team has the 3 most experienced VGC players in as far as I'm aware. If I am wrong, please yell at me in the comment if you think you have more experience than.
Can we
3 of the
just yell
coaches
at
on
Wall
these
for
teams.
no
Yeah,
reason
sure,
at
sir.
all?
Off the bat here, I see a lot of good picks by Golden Coffee on the Lancaster Lycan Rocks. Tapu Fini, amazing Pokemon. Pair with Stack Attack is going to be a problem. A Stack Attack is a great Maximon this season. It's able to set Trick Room. You have to respect it. And then on top of that, if you taunt into it, you have the risk of getting Rockfall or Steel Spike. And the fact that you're able to Beast Boost it as well, there's a tech where you can actually lower its defenses so that the Beast Boost that you get is an attack one. So you can stack on attack boosts over and over again, and it's very prominent. Tapu Fini, you're not going to be able to get burned either, so Stack Attack is going to be able to steamroll by them teams with just those 2 by itself. Re-Nicholas is also going to be able to help out by setting up Trick Room in case they don't want to bring Stack Attack or they want to be able to back Stack Attack at turn 1. Clefable, not Clefairy, but it is still a great Follow Me Mon, just as bulky, if not more, with Unaware actually doing lots of damage. I would say Stack Attack beats it, but considering they have the pick, they're not going to have to worry about that. Clefairy, again, yeah, a good Follow Me Mon. Also puts out a reasonable amount of damage with 95 special attack. It gets things that cover Stack Attack as weaknesses, I believe. So things like, I think it gets Energy Ball, it gets Flamethrower, it gets a lot of good coverage moves is my point, not that it necessarily helps Stack Attack. Kingler is kind of niche. 75 base speed isn't the best on a team like this because you're either setting up Tricker, you're setting up Tricker 9 times out of 10. You don't want to be lowering your opponent's speed with Kingler's move, and honestly, I'd rather be having a Rain a lot 9 times out of 10 to boost Kingler's moves to just Oko things. Frostlass, kind of weird. You're able to spam Blizzard. You're running this with Sash. You could you could Ice Shard proc into like a Rhydon weakness policy maybe. Speaking of which, Rhydon's actually reasonably bulky. I tried it out for a little while. Its special defense, same thing as I said before for the other Pokemon. Its special defense is really bad, even with Eviolite. It is able to take hits at max, but it's not necessarily the most reliable because, again, if you're relying on Eviolite, then you can't run a weakness policy. Scyther, actually really good Pokemon. I ran it for a little while on a team in Series 6. It gets dual Wing Beat. And with Band, it does a lot of damage with 110 and 105 speed, respectively, or 110 attack and 105 speed, respectively. Like in Rock Dusk, you're also able to bulldoze with this thing, proc your weakness policy on Stack Attacka. Girder as well, Mach Punch. There's a lot of ways to proc a Stack Attack weakness policy. I guess that could be one of the problems of the team is that Stack centralizes around the core here. So Tapu Fini, Stack Attack, and Clefable, it kind of centralizes around that core, and everything else here is the support of that or an extension of that to do damage. But that's all I really have to say about the team.
Gold Coffee, do you
And the
want
fact
to say
that it's a lot
anything?
of physical attackers.
Yeah.
Gold Coffee, anything you want to say about your team that we've missed?
Not really anything. I do want to say that you're overestimating us. I have only watched VGC. I've barely played any, and I'm apparently the one
Well,
carrying coffee. So,
well, considering you
Great.
were able to pick up Tabu Fini and Saka and Clefable, shows that you are pretty decent. If not, you know the gist around it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that's impressive to you see my already alcohol.
Well, hopefully you steal some tech that I gave you. Well, anyone watching this video, honestly, anybody that I mentioned, any ideas that you find were cool or you didn't know about, that's always super cool. So definitely feel free to pick those up. Cough, follow me on Twitch. You can find out more abilities in VGC.
Link
Anyways.
down in the description.
But what's the next team?
Oh, wait. Coffee was trying to say something. My
Alright.
apologies.
Sorry, Coffee.
Something I'd like to mention is Reuniclus is still very solid attacking wise. It has 125 special attack and some decent coverage. So if you can run it support and still have an offensive move. On it.
Yeah, same thing with Stack Attacker. So Stack Attacker is a great physical attacker, but it can still sub Trick Room. Same thing with Nicholas, right? Wolfie Glick ran it in Season 2 next to Durant. He ran it with, I believe, Magikarp. So he ran it with Life Orb, Trick Room, Thunderbolt, like Psychic, and like some other move with it. But it is able to put out a lot of damage. You are not wrong about that.
Fun fact, Duosion and Reuniclus have the same special attack base stat.
Yeah, I
and
just
they
noticed
also both
it.
have Magikarp. So that's a fun fact. Moving on.
Next team is my team and Awesome Cuz 13's team. Crown 20 Turmoil. Go ahead, Charisma.
Sure, so off the bat, you have a lot of really good picks here. Comfy Glacier is a really good example here of just pure damage and pure bulk. Glacier and Heatran complement each other really well, able to switch in and pivot out your Glacier and Heatran. Lando Eye, actually a niche pick, only 7 points. It's actually a pretty good attacker on this special side, actually. You're able to Earth Power with it with Life Orb, but with Sheer Force, its damage actually puts out good amounts. And you're obviously like, why no Lando T? Wolfie Glick, Lando T, yada, Intimidate. But Lando I is able to put out a ridiculous amount of damage. Comfy as well is going to get annoying considering you can't fake it out. Triage actually goes before fake out. I believe. Anyways.
I
Yeah,
think
no,
fake
fake
outs
out's
is
plus
+2.
two.
Triage
Yeah,
is
fake out's
+1.
plus 2, triage is plus 3. No, triage is plus
Yeah,
3.
it goes before.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, triage goes before. But yeah, you're able to just heal up your Glacier, and with its ridiculous bulk, it's going to be very hard for the opponent to break through. Considering Comfy also gets Trick Room as well with Orb Beetle, they're able to set up Trick Room, and you're going to have to Will Whisper their Glacier really fast. But in that same vein, Volcarona also has not Struggle Bug. Well, it does get Struggle Bug, but it gets
Rage Powder.
to follow away the burn, which won't even affect Volcarona at all. So if it's running Sash, you're not even going to get rid of its Sash that way. The fact that all 3 of these Pokemon here pretty much stop Glacier from getting burned. It is very, again, the same thing is very centralized around Glacier, but that's not necessarily a bad thing if you play well. Ditto is a very niche pick, but I feel like it could do well in a multi-battles league. Yeah, actually, it's a best of 1, so it's not as well. In a best of 3, I'd say you could use it for information for game 1. Lopunny gets fake out. You can actually run a Limber, very, very funny Pokemon to be using. It is very funny to use. Kabutops, not sure what it does. I'm sure you could do some weak armor gimmick with like Sash, Swords Dance, weak armor. That could be funny. Not sure what Munchlax does is either. But the main core here is obviously your Trick Room, plus your Heatran Glacier with Volcarona Lando I support.
Imagine getting Munchlax for 1 point.
Yeah, when
We're
when
gonna get
Snorlax
into
was
that.
1 point. We'll get into that. We got the poor man Snorlax, okay, for the same amount of money.
So
yeah,
sorry.
You
No,
kind of skipped
go
over
ahead.
You kind of skipped over Volcarona. The main reason we drafted Volcarona, we got to the end draft, we were like, oh shit, Jalen tells us we can't use Ally Switch in multi-battles, which is kind of dumb, because we weren't going to pick up Volcarona, and most of the redirection was gone, and we were like, Volcarona is better than the only other redirection one left, let's do that, because you can always run defense in it to cover for its weakened defenses, if you understand what I mean.
No.
Which
Yeah,
means
no,
we
100%.
can run offensive as well if we wanted to. So it means they have to think about what we're going to do, which means more offensive pressure, really.
And then also,
that shit hits hard.
yeah, Glacier, if I'm not mistaken, it's really, really good. Its stats are really good.
Yeah,
and
as
also,
long as you start to steamroll with it, you're able to pick up KOs. But if they do manage to burn it, then it's kind of game over for Glacier.
yeah. And also going off of what Chris said about Lopunny is very, very funny. Klutz AV, Klutz Flame Orb, Klutz Toxic Orb. It's hilarious with Switcheroo and also Fake Out and things like that. It's really fast. And it gets a decent amount of options. So I really like it. And I think I really like Munchlax as well. I think Munchlax is pretty cool.
So it's just a poor man Snorlax.
No.
Yep, pretty much.
No,
But
it's
it
a
gets
format
belly jump and
Snorlax.
everything like that.
Yep, pretty much.
But you can't run Berry with it, right?
Well,
Nope.
you can, but you're gonna have pretty bad defenses if you do.
Because like you're Eviolite, and then you're already at half HP with belly jump. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
it'll work, but actually it might be able to work with Volcarona, because you'll be able to like belly drum, follow me, and you're gonna be able to like heal up next turn with like a what's it called
Oh, Confade Triage as well. You can heal up with Floral Healing as well.
Mhm.
That's also something.
And
That is
Comfy Heal Bow, which is priority, so you can just get rid of the ban.
Yeah. Comfy's
nice, I didn't know that.
Off this team.
But I think we have one team left, if I'm not mistaken. Or are we
Final
missing
team,
one?
which is this is our final team. Which is coached by Lucas, and I think I just left the call. No, I didn't. Okay.
No, you're still here.
Coached by Jalen and Lucas, who are in the call at the moment.
What is he
First
gonna
of all,
say?
first of all, before Carissa wants to get into this, I am carrying Lucas. I am carrying. Anyways, Carissa, go ahead.
Off the bat here, we IC Season 6, screaming my name. Togekiss Dragapult, the most prominent team in Series 6, carried a lot of people. I think is still very prominent in Season 7. Even though it's a bit weaker, it's still something you have to look out for. Follow me Dragon Dance, follow me Airstream, follow me Phantom Force, follow me Wormwind, whatever you want to do. Don't even get me started on Crit Kiss. That monster is still insane, somewhat. Slightly weakened because of the options in Season 7, but in a draft it's slightly more excusable. Togekiss is a Pokemon everyone is going to have to look out for. Everyone knows it's Wrath. I don't think I have to touch on it at all. Same thing with Dragapult, Life Orb, weakness policy, you're able to run it with whatever the hell you want. And then the fact that if I don't even want to go into their supports with Riolo Sneasel, the fact that Riolo can coach, the fact that it can bullet punch into Togekiss.
Check out this man's merch. Yes.
Sneasel can not Icy Wind, but it can Ice Shard into Togekiss, Lando Eye, Dragon Bolt, proc all their weakness policies. They can both beat up in Cabalion. Toxtricity kind of rounds it out because of their immunity to the ground. With Lando Eye and Togekiss, you're able to bring Toxtricity and Cabalion into weeks. Torragat for Intimidate, Behem for Trick Room, Snorlax for that as mode as well. There's a lot of threatening options here. There's a lot of this speaks for itself.
Look at the price of Snorlax.
1 point for Snorlax.
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
But going more in depth, sorry, I'm just like this. I believe that we do have a lot of options. I actually ran a Series 16 with Sneasel Icy Wind. I played in a friendly with that before, but I think I'm just being boastful. I think we have a lot of options. We have Tailwind, we have Trick Room, we have Beat Up, we have so many things that you have to worry about. Tornadus with Prankster and Defiant, both amazing abilities. Prankster Tailwind, Defiant for Intimidators and Snarls and things like that. We have a decent amount of Fake Out support. Prankster coaching, as Charisma mentioned. Behem is nice as a max mod. It gets Meteor Beam, which Meteor Beam with Togekiss could be kind of cool. You can also go Max Guard, Copycat, Trick Room as Hattereens and Riolu's ran. There's a lot that can be done with this team, and the standard Follow Me, Belly Drum, Berry, Snorlax, and standard. But I think, if I may say, I think the problem with this team actually is the fact that it is, I think, in my opinion, surrounding VGC too much. I feel like multi-battles are 6v6 as this season, and I feel like a lot of what I guess I could say myself, I don't really think Lucas contributed to some of these as much as I did myself. Not in a bad way or anything like that, but I think my problem was I saw too much VGC and not essentially double 6v6. So we're not going to necessarily be able to take advantage of a lot of things.
I wasn't allowed to guess my picks.
Okay, so just to give you context, he wanted Regigigas Weezing. I said no. I said absolutely no, shut it down. But other than that, pretty much, I think that's our only problem. But other than that, we have a lot of options. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
I just want to take the time to plug Charisma's merch. I showed it already in a cam. Check this man's merch out if it's still available when we're speaking of Togekiss. Get some, those hoodies are really comfy.
Check out his stream, twitch.tv/charisma with 2 A's. Check.
Yeah, I'll be down in the description.
Yeah.
But it was a pleasure helping out the RDL rankings. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Manager?
Who is Mr. Manager? Oh, Volt.
Me, I own the league.
You own nothing.
I took control of this call. I think we can all admit. I think I took control.
Yeah, you did. You kept cutting me off. I wanted to talk, and then it was like, Jalen, no.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, someone had to take over control since you were not doing it.
Damn.
Okay. I just want to say thank you for all of you guys for joining me. I know it was a big ask. We sat here for a good hour or so doing this. And I just want to thank you all for coming on.
Trust me, it's not taking longer than an hour.
Lucas,
sorry to anybody we had to rush to maybe near the end.
Yeah, Lucas, what time do you have to go to work tomorrow? I feel so bad for you. It's like 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. for you.
4 hours.
Oh, jeez. Shout out to Lucas. If you are a fan, subscribe. If you just feel bad for Lucas for staying up so late, please subscribe. Give him a round of applause for doing this. This was like 2 hours, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
1.5.
38 minutes and 21 seconds.
Oh, there you go. I mean, it was pretty close, but I just want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to apologize to Volt because I just totally shut him down numerous times. But I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank my partner, Lucas. I want to definitely thank Charisma. Please check him out. Charisma's amazing. He does streams, and it's really enjoyable. He's really funny and he really keeps you company when you feel lonely. But other than that, we also have 813, which is he's really funny. He's hilarious. If you want to laugh, definitely check out his streams and things like that. But
/AwesomeAcos13.
I'm gonna bleep that
oh
again.
my
I'm gonna bleep that again.
But thank you everyone here for attending. I know this was pretty short notice, but thank you all for watching. Hopefully, if Lucas is still awake, he can put timestamps as to when each team was reviewed. If not, good luck trying to fast forward or rewind.
Don't tell me
But
you
thank
wanna
everybody.
make.
If it doesn't, I'll watch. If
Don't-
it doesn't, I'll post the timestamps in the comments.
Don't tell me you
Yeah.
want me to render this right now.
No, not right now. No. You're too tired. You have to go to sleep. You have
That
to
would
work.
be literal hell for you.
That would be an hour and 30 minutes of watching just to get timestamps.
Oh,
That would be hell.
Let's just hope that the files don't get corrupted.
Oh
Oh
god.
no! Oh god! Alright, I'm going to conclude this before things get rough. Hopefully everything's still good with the video and things like that. But thank
Oh,
you all
no.
for attending. Thank you all for watching.
I
Oh
didn't
my God,
record.
Lucas. No, you're lying.
Yeah, I am.
Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Everyone say bye, or I'll kill you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Peace. Have a good one.
Can I at least do the
closer,
ending
though.
of my own video? Thank you.
Oh wait, I just took his outro. I feel so bad.
Yeah.
I'm just taking control.
Wold, can you say cunt for me, please?
Cunt.
Thanks, that's it. Bye.